You said never let me go. You said never let me.
Hey guys, very sorry I've been MIA for the past few weeks. The last time you viewed for me was my January wrap up, so I'm gonna give you a rundown on what I've read so far in February, what I've still got to read, and just a general update. So, I've been MIA because my mental health has been crap recently, but I finally have the motivation to make a video, so here we are. Ignore the fact my hair is doing whatever the fuck it wants to do. So far in February I've read 12 books. I did DNF 2, but I will just go through them and let you know where I thought. So, I read Killing the Witches, The Horror of Salem, Massachusetts by Bill O'Reilly. I gave that 3.5 stars, purely because the first half was what I expected. It was talking about the witch trials, how they come about, how it affected people, the things they went through, and the wider implications for the rest of America, basically. The second half just encompassed a bunch of things that came after the witch trials and how the witch trials influenced them. So, how it influenced the fight for American independence, the rise of the founding fathers, and a bunch more. And it ends with the witch trial somehow influencing the creation of the Exorcist movie. It was weird. The second half was weird, which is why I only got 3.5 stars. I then finally finished Narcissus in Chains, which I gave a 5 stars to. It's one of my favourite books in the series so far. Up until this point in the series, Narcissus is book 10 in the Anita Blake series. It's been very hit or miss. Some books I've really enjoyed, other ones I've hated. I know book 9, before this Obsidian Butterfly, took me months to read because I was just not feeling it. But it seems we finally got rid of Whiny Anita, and we now have a lot more love interest on scene. We finally got rid of Richard. Thank God. We have Jean-Claude, we have Micah, we have Nathaniel, she's had a scene with Jason, who else? Oh, and Asher. I really can't wait to see more of Asher. He's one of my favourites. Asher and Micah are my top two, next to Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude will always win, but Asher and Micah come pretty damn close, so I adored it. Then I read Seven Faces Saints and Disciples of Chaos by M.K. Lobb. That was because I was on a blog tour for Disciples of Chaos, so I had to reread Seven Faces Saints. The first time I read Seven Faces Saints, I think I gave it 3.5, 3.75 stars. But actually, after reading it again and then the sequel directly afterwards, it actually bumped up my rating. I gave Seven Faces Saints 4.25 stars, and I gave Disciples of Chaos 4 stars. Purely because I found the first half of Seven Faces Saints really slow, but then the second half was great. And Disciples of Chaos was really good, but the ending, I felt like it was a bit of a cop-out. They could have done more with it, especially being as it's a duology, that's the complete series. So I was a bit let down, but it was really good overall. Then for another blog tour, I read My Throat an Open Grave by Tori Bovalino, and that only got 3.5 stars. And I'm so sad, because I read The Devil Makes 3 by Tori Bovalino, and that got 5 stars. I loved it. My Throat an Open Grave was kind of pitched as if Labyrinth was a horror. So I was like, oh, okay, and I know where we're going. And for a lot of it, it does follow kind of the Labyrinth plotline where the main character wishes away a baby brother, he actually gets taken, and then she's got to go get him back. But there's a lot more stuff going on. It's extremely religious, which I didn't enjoy. They could have set up the same thing with a cult or something that wasn't so pro Jesus. It really put me off. And then it became a combination of fantasy, murder mystery, horror. It kind of felt like it didn't know what genre it wanted to be. And while the ending was really satisfying, a lot of the stuff leading up to that wasn't. So I'm really sad. I will still be reading Not Good for Maidens, which is a retelling of the Goblin Market, but I'm now kind of torn because I've got a 5-star from Tori Bolino and a 3.5 star, so I don't know where that's going to fall, but I'll have to wait and see. I also read Blood on My Hands by Shannon O'Leary, which is an autobiography, extremely dark, focuses on child abuse, SA, murder, really dark, so if you ever pick that up, be warned. And then the two at DNF were At Every Depth by Tessa Hill and Women in Japanese Studies by Alyssa Friedman. Now, Women in Japanese Studies I was really excited for, being as I study Japanese myself. But these are essays from women who helped create Japanese studies as we know it today, and how they got into it through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on. And I read, I think, the first 6 essays, which was about 30% of the book. And they were good, but by the 6th one, it was repetitive. They were all saying the same thing, they had really similar stories, and it just felt like I was reading the same essay over and over again, so I ended up DNFing that. At Every Depth by Tessa Hill was a duality for me. Like, I really enjoyed the subject matter of the oceans and investigating what goes on in our oceans a bit more. I really enjoyed that, but it is extremely climate change heavy. Like, every chapter it's like, oh, this happens to coral, but it's because of climate change, and climate change, and climate change. And that narrative, if you're in the know, is absolute bullshit. So yeah, I just got so annoyed with it that I had to DNF it. Then I continued the Human Mate Insight series from B.L. Wild with Mr. Boring and Mr. Nice. They both got 4.25 stars. The romances are really good. We are seeing a lot of characters reoccurring, and we are coming up to the end game romance, and I'm all for it. Then I read Tempts Me by K.A. Tucker / Nina West. I gave that 4 stars. It reminds me a lot of the Crossfire series, but with more emotional manipulation and less BDSM. But I still really enjoyed it for a smutty romance. It's not even a smutty romance because, like, 70% of it is slow burn and tension. It's only the last 30 or so percent that's actually smutty, but I adored it. Henry Wolf is now up there with toxic males that we love to hate, with Christian Grey and Gideon Cross. So I'm out of myself there a bit. And then the last book I've officially finished is Wordslut by Amanda Montell, which also got a 4. Really enjoyed to top it, looking at how language has evolved over time, and how words that are previously neutral can gain a positive or a negative connotation over time, and how that affects our society. The only reason it didn't get higher is because for me, Cultish, which I read by her last month, it was more engaging, it had more topics and people reference that everyone is more familiar with, even if you don't actively look into it. Like, I think almost everyone knows who people like Jim Jones are. And it was just more entertaining. So, going on to what I have to read, I've got 2 more blog tours left this month. One is the book I'm currently reading, which is Snow Globe by So Young Park. This is basically kind of like Snowpiercer meets the Hunger Games. It's essentially, from what I can gather so far, it's a futuristic world where it's essentially an ice age. It's like minus 50 degrees every day, and the only place that is climate controlled is something called the Snow Globe. But you have to be a very well-known actress or director or whatever to get into the Snow Globe. And our main character, it's her dream to get into there. But it's not happening at that moment. So we've just kind of met the key characters, who are the twins, one of whom is our main character, who are looking after their grandmother who has dementia. They work at the power plant, which provides electricity for the Snow Globe, and in return they give entertainment to everyone else, and a lot of food and things that can now not be created outside of the Snow Globe are sent out to the other pockets of civilization. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go. It is, I believe, a Korean translated works, and in my experience, translated works are never as good as the original language, but they do stack up pretty closely. So I have that to finish in the next few days, and then I'm on a blog tour for the second book in the Momo Arashima series, which is like a middle grade YA series. I have read book 1 before, and I thought it was mid. So I do have to reread that before I read the second one. So I will give you my updated thoughts on that series in my wrap up. And I've also got quite a few blog tours I'm in for March as well, but these are ones I've been dying to get on. So like A Cursed Sun by Dario Leto, A Calling of Light by Laurie M. Lee. So definitely stay tuned for those. It's going to be a really fun time. But yeah, I think the rest of my day today, being as it's raining and there's not much else to do, is going to be spent reading Snow Globe. And yeah, so I apologise for being AWOL, but I will check in with you again very soon.